quick sort of refresher of the demo I did last time about throwing or centering, just the basic cylinder for a cup. So I wedged out my clay. I don't know, I didn't weigh this, but it's maybe 1.5 pounds, I guess, or ish, somewhere, ish. Stick it on there, right? You want to make sure this is really stuck to the wheel head. If it's not, you wet your finger, right? You run it across the bottom, push in, make sure it's really stuck now. It's not going to go anywhere. Important thing is elbows are down, left hand, using this part of my hand, and I'm pushing forward, okay? And this right hand, these 4 fingers, and starting right down at the bottom, and I'm pulling in, making that clamp, okay? Now when I start out, you know, my hands are sort of angled like this at a 45, the way I'm pushing. So everyone get that right? So they're pushing down like this, and as I push in, my hands start to straighten out, and then when I'm lifting up, they're actually sort of undercutting and going into 45 the other direction and lifting. It's very subtle, but not supposed to do that. So I do that, lift up. So that's, you know, you're coning, so this is, you're coning up. And then that joint, okay, comes right to the top, and that pushes back down. And this hand in the same position, going back down. You want to end up with that hockey puck shape. You know, and sometimes it takes a couple kind of up and down movements in order to get that really on center. So with this, I'm going to throw a yunomi, which is a teacup, like a Japanese teacup, but it's not for the tea ceremony. It's like an everyday drinking cup. I started making
What did you call it?
It's called a yunomi. Y-U-N-O-M-I, I think. I don't know. I started making them recently because, are you all familiar with the Akar Gallery in Iowa City? It's A-K-A-R, and you can Google it, and it's a really awesome gallery online. But every year they do a Yunomi Invitational, which benefits Studio Potter, and so I was invited to that this year, and so I started making these. But I kind of like them. So this, I'm going to have a trimmed foot. So when I press down to open, I'm going to leave myself a little more clay on the bottom, probably at least a 1/2 inch. That way I can get a nice foot. And the shape is really, it's, I guess, like, no, where the top is, I don't know, it has a shape where it bellies out. But the bottom's smaller than the top. So whatever that one is on the chart. And so when I do this, I don't pull straight across. I want to have a nice, just like a bowl, I want a nice curve to the inside. And so for lifting up, I'm going to push in at the bottom, right, and establish this ring of clay that I'm going to pull. And I'm going to use that grip method where I'm really only pulling with this hand, and this hand kind of uses as a guide. Okay, so I'm squeezing and pulling. And as I'm doing this, I want to really be defining that inner shape at the same time as I'm pulling the clay up. So, did anybody watch that video?
Yeah. I watched Mr. Buttons.
You watched Mr. Buttons?
Pick some bud flower pots.
Isn't that pretty awesome?
Yeah.
I want to learn to glaze like that.
I know.
It looks so much easier than
It's
what I'm
so
doing.
fluid. Did anyone watch the Pete Pinal video on cups?
What?
Yeah.
The Pete Pinnell video.
No.
Makes you want to go to Starbucks and just sit there and watch.
Yeah. Anyone else watch it?
Is that the Google video guy?
Yeah, it's
No.
over there.
I'm gonna write it down because I got the wrong.
No.
I was sitting there going, it's Pete something. It's Pete something. I got Pete Patel.
Yeah,
Which
I
is
don't-
also a potter. And
If you go to Google Video and put in Pete Pinnell thoughts on cups,
Pinnell, yeah.
it'll pop
But
up.
I put Patel with the T, and there is a Pete Patel that is a potter.
So I basically got the height I want now. So now I'm gonna go back and really kind of define the form. So what I'm doing is using the rib on the outside, and on the inside, my hand is pushing out against the rib, getting rid of all
So I
that.
take it these cups are a
slurry.
little bit larger than your, like the tea ceremony teacups.
Yeah, this is a yunomi is an everyday like tea drinking vessel, whereas like the tea ceremony, there's very specific tea bowls.
Right.
So I'm gonna go and rib the inside.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Yeah, we tried that.
Yeah, this takes.
That's
Dug
like
into it.
patting your
Is
head
he
and rubbing your belly at the same time.
It's-
Chewing gum.
It's got another bit.
It takes a little bit of practice to get it down, but it really
Yeah.
makes
It's such a
those
pretty
walls
shade.
super tight.
Yeah.
And I found it's very important because I fire everything in the wood kiln.
Yeah.
This helps with warping
Okay.
due
Oh,
to
okay.
heat, like the stress that heat puts on the work. This helps.
Do I need to go get little metal ropes?
I'm using the curve side, and I'm
Does
just
it work with the plastic ones?
yep. I like the metal ones just because they give a really clean surface.
Yeah.
You know, you don't. Sometimes the plastic ones you still get those throwing lines.
Yeah.
I find those to be somewhat distracting.
So when you wood fire, are you going to bisque fire in the little kiln up there first?
Yep.
And then are you going to glaze the wood fire?
Yeah, for my work, I use terra sigillata.
It's easy for you to say.
Right. So basically, what that is a very fine particle.